Hey everyone, and welcome. In the world of real estate, things are always changing. But every once in a while, something happens that's less of a ripple and more of a tidal wave. Today, we're jumping into a new partnership that is doing exactly that, and it's kicking off a huge debate about the future of how we all buy and sell homes.
Let's just start right there. War. That's a pretty heavy word, right? But it really captures just how high the stakes are here. The reaction to this new alliance has been, well, intense. It's basically split the industry right down the middle. So what in the world is causing all this chaos?
Well, it all boils down to this new team-up. You've got these huge players, Compass-Redfin, Rocket, and they've built a system where their agents can share coming-soon listings directly with each other before that info goes out to the wider market. And according to our source material, this seemingly simple idea is actually a direct challenge to the way real estate has been done for decades.
So first up, let's talk about the old rules. Because to really get why this partnership is such a big deal, we have to understand the system it's pushing back against, the status quo that has been in place for years.
Okay, so at the very heart of this debate is this one key rule, the National Association of Realtors Clear Cooperation Policy. What it says, pretty simply, is that if an agent markets a property to the public in any way, they've got just one business day to upload it to their local multiple listing service, or MLS.
And when they say any public marketing, they mean it. We're not just talking about a sign in the yard. We're talking about a single Instagram post, a quick Facebook story, anything like that. And boom, that 24-hour clock starts ticking. You could see how this really limits how a seller and their agent can kind of test the waters before going live.
So this brings us to the author's big question. Now, the official line is that this policy is all about transparency and fairness for consumers. But is that what it's really about? Or is it maybe designed to protect something, or someone else entirely?
And this is how the author frames the argument. The idea is that the policy isn't really set up for the seller, the person who's in the middle of this massive, life-changing financial decision. No, the argument is that it's there to protect the system. It keeps the supply chain of listing data flowing smoothly to the MLS and the big online portals. It's really about maintaining institutional control.
And that brings us to the first big shift that this new partnership represents. You could call it a vote for the sellers. It's a move away from prioritizing the system and a step toward putting the power back where, arguably, it should have been all along, with the homeowner.
And it really forces the industry to ask this fundamental question. Who should get to decide how a home is marketed? Should a one-size-fits-all rule dictate the strategy for every single property? Or should the seller, working with their agent, have the freedom to choose the best way forward for their unique situation? You can really see the two clashing philosophies laid out here. On one side, you have seller choice, a primary duty to the client and empowering the consumer. And on the other side, you've got platform control, a duty to the MLS and protecting the institution. This new deal, as the author sees it, is planting its flag firmly on the side of the consumer. All right, next up, let's talk about the second major shift this enables. Smarter, faster pricing. Because beyond just giving sellers more control, this partnership creates a much more modern way to land on the most important number in the whole transaction, the price. You see, for so long, pricing a home has been all about looking backwards. Agents look at past sales data, they crunch the numbers, and they make their best educated guess. The new way adds this incredibly valuable new layer, qualitative feedback. By pre-marketing to a network of agents, sellers can get immediate reactions from actual, active buyers before the listing ever goes public. It's like the difference between driving by only looking in your rearview mirror and actually looking at the road ahead. And just think about the risk with the old way. If you guess wrong on the price and have to drop it a week later, that price cut is public. It can create this stigma. Buyers start to wonder, what's wrong with the house? Or they think, hey, maybe I can just lowball them. It puts the seller on the back foot from the very beginning.
So this new approach allows for a much smarter game plan. Step 1, you gauge interest during a coming soon phase. Step 2, you collect that priceless real-world feedback on your price. And then step 3, you launch on the open market feeling confident that your price is dialed in from the get-go.
And the result of having all this better information? Well, it's pretty simple. Better outcomes. The source we're looking at cites data from Compass showing that listings that use this kind of phased marketing strategy actually end up selling for higher prices. So it's not about hiding anything, it's about going to market with the best possible information.
Now, let's zoom out a bit, because this whole thing is bigger than just one business deal. It really gets to this question of the future is here. What we're seeing is a classic story of an industry grappling with, and in some corners, fiercely resisting, inevitable change.
To make this idea feel real, the author shares this great little anecdote. He remembers when his first brokerage literally banned Facebook. I mean, can you imagine that today? It sounds completely absurd, but back then, the people in charge didn't see it as a tool. They saw it as a threat.
And this just illustrates that clash in perspective perfectly. Management saw a time-wasting distraction, but a forward-thinking marketer saw an obvious, powerful sales tool. It's the exact same debate we're having now. Is this new partnership a threat to the old system, or is it an incredible new tool for sellers?
And this brings us right to the author's final core argument. Look, change is always uncomfortable. Of course it is, and yes, it absolutely threatens existing power structures. But, and this is the big but, in a business where an agent's job is to serve their client, their first obligation has to be to that person, not to protecting what he calls institutional inertia.
So we're left with this fundamental choice, this big question for the entire industry. Is it going to spend its energy protecting its past, or will it start building its future? Is the main goal to hang on to the old way of doing things, or is it to embrace innovations that create a better, more transparent world for the consumer? The answer is going to define the next chapter of real estate.